I'm running out of eggs to cut with my spoon. So if you're anything like me, you've been eating food for all the years of your life. In yesterday's video, we talked about what calories actually are, where they come from, and why we need them. In this video, we are going to discuss where calories go once we finally do eat them, right? So, buckle up, grab your favorite cutting spoon, and let's chat. Alright everybody, welcome back to the Education Fitness channel, where we teach you everything you need to know starting at ground zero, what you need in order to become the best version of yourself. So, my name is Talon Chirping. I am a public school science teacher who also has a passion for fitness and wants to teach you how you can become the best version of you. In the last video, if you didn't catch it, we talked about what calories are and where they even come from, right? So if you didn't see it or you need a refresher, a calorie is basically just a unit of energy, and energy is just the ability to cause change. So our bodies are always changing, we're always moving, we're always walking, fidgeting around, our hearts are always beating, our bodies are just trying to stay alive, right? And all of that requires calories. So today, we are gonna figure out, once we take in the calories, once we eat them, we have to use them somehow, right? The law of conservation of energy states that energy cannot just go into the wind. We just cannot take in energy, right? Once we eat it, we gotta use it somehow. And today we're gonna break that down, how calories are actually used. Throughout the days, we spend our calories depending on what we do. So each and every single day, as we go through our day, as we walk more, as we fidget, as our body just keeps trying to keep itself alive, we just keep burning more and more calories. Over the days, we use calories more and more and more. Throughout the weeks, throughout the years, you can actually start averaging out how many calories you specifically burn per day. So today we're just going to be talking about how our calorie breakdown is. Basically, we can burn this much here, burn that much there, right? To give us our total amount of calories burned, called our total daily energy expenditure, aka TDEE. So everybody's TDEE can be broken down into 4 different main parts, and each one approximately has a different percentage of calories that you burn from your total TDEE. Just want to preference really quick that these are ballpark estimates, and this is going to be different for everyone, but this is a good starting point for you to understand where your calories are going throughout the day. So the first way we burn calories is what's called our basal metabolic rate, or BMR. So your BMR is basically just how many calories you burn by just surviving, right? So if you were going to lay in bed all day, my bed's over there, and you were just gonna lay there, you didn't move, you didn't roll over, didn't go up to use the bathroom, didn't eat anything, like literally in a vegetative state, the amount of calories that you burn in that vegetative state, where you do absolutely, like literally nothing, is called your basal metabolic rate. And that's essentially just your body keeping itself alive and processing, but not doing anything more. This is just your bare bones baseline calories that you burn each day. So knowing that, your BMR burns about 70% of your calories for each and every single given day. And that's pretty awesome, because most of your calories are burned just by surviving, right? Your next biggest energy burner is going to be called your non-energy activity thermogenesis. That's not right. So our second category that we're going to be working with next is called your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. These are just a really big mouthful, or NEAT for short. Before we start, I just want to break down that word thermogenesis. So thermo and genesis. Thermo means heat, genesis means creation, so the creation of heat. And basically, as we burn calories, right, some of that energy gets radiated out as body heat, and that's why when we're like working out, we're moving a lot, requiring a lot of energy, right? That's why we get really hot. We produce a lot of body heat because of all the calories that we are burning. So what is NEAT? NEAT is basically just all of the energy that you use when you are not exercising and just basically just doing random movement. So you walk around, you make food, you're playing with the kids, using the bathroom, bobbing your leg up and down, right? All of these would be considered NEAT actions, right? So you're not necessarily exercising, but they're things you get up and walk around and do. These are just normal everyday actions that you take part. And NEAT generally burns about 15% of your total calories from your TDEE, so not bad. The third category that I want to talk about next is called our thermic effect of food, also known as TEF. So thermic effect of food is basically the energy that our body expends breaking down the food we eat. So in the last calorie episode, right, we talked about how the atoms of our food, when we eat them, they get split apart during digestion, and then we use those parts to basically repurpose them and use them for whatever we need, right? So building muscle, energy production, fat, etc. So our bodies just cannot magically extract calories out of nowhere, right? We need to put energy into those enzymes in order for those enzymes to break down our food, which requires energy, requires calories, right? So you have to burn calories to get calories from your food. How awesome is that? Generally, the thermic effect of food takes up about 10% of our TDEE, and depending on the type of food that you eat, it's gonna take different amounts of energy in order to get energy back. So, of the 3 macronutrients that we talked about yesterday, fat, protein, and carbs, each one requires a different amount of breakdown, therefore energy needed to get the energy from there. Starting with fats, fats require the least. So fats that we eat generally get stored as body fat or hormones. So they're basically already in the configuration that we need, so we don't need to break them down that much. They're pretty much good to go. So usually about 0 to 3% of the energy that we get from fats is needed to break those down. Next is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates takes about 5 to 10% of the energy that we take in, so not a lot. Carbs are pretty well organized and built for us just to use them right away as well. However, protein is a different story. So protein takes about 20 to 30% of your energy to digest, and they're just really hard for our bodies to break down. So, excuse you. So proteins take about 30% to break down. They're really hard to break down into the smaller pieces called amino acids. We'll talk about those later. Some studies even show that we need to use up 40% of the energy that we gain from our protein sources in order to get protein back, right? So that's about almost half of the energy that we take in from protein gets used up just breaking down our protein sources, right? However, don't get excited. Don't think that now if I only eat protein, I can eat twice as much, right? No, not necessarily. Nutrition labels do take this into effect, so sorry, no freebies. Finally, our fourth and final category that we're going to talk about is exercise activity thermogenesis. This one is kind of just how it sounds. How many calories do you burn just by deliberately exercising, right? I'm going to go on a run. I'm going to go biking, rock climbing, swimming, going to the gym, going for a walk, right? Anything that you deliberately go out and exercise trying to burn calories would be considered exercise activity thermogenesis, or EAT. So this depends on each individual person, right? I like to work out daily, so my EAT is going to be a little bit higher than someone who just comes home and just watches Netflix all day, right? So your EAT can be very, very high, or it can be very, very low depending on how much you exercise. So what does this look like for the average person? So according to the National Health Services, the average woman needs about 2,000 calories and the average man uses up 2,500 calories. If we were going to break these numbers down, for the average male, the BMR would use up 1,750 calories. Your NEAT will use up 375 calories. Your thermic effect of food, so how much it takes to digest, 250 calories. And finally, your exercise activity will take up 125 calories. If you are a female, you are going to need about 1,400 calories to just maintain basic life, your BMR. You're gonna need 300 calories just to move around and just do daily, everyday tasks, your NEAT. Your thermic effect of food will burn around 200 of your calories, And finally, exercise for the average adult female will burn about 100 calories. So that begs the question, what if we overeat our TDEE? So if you remember from the last video, the law of conservation of energy states that if we take in energy, we have to use it somehow, right? So the majority of calories that we use are just to maintain body functions and just do our daily tasks, right? So sticking with the average male example of 2,500 calories, what happens if, say, someone has 3,000 calories, right? That's 500 calories over what was needed to maintain daily functions and bodily functions. So where does that 500 go? So our body does a couple of different things depending on how much extra energy we get, right? So one way our body deals with an excess of energy is increasing body heat. If you ever gone to Chinese buffets, right, or any buffet and you just stuff yourself as much as you possibly can, you might have noticed you might have started sweating a bit, right? So you start sweating because your body is working really hard, one, to digest all of that food. It's putting in a lot of energy, right? When we use energy, we create body heat. So when we have a lot of extra energy, we start creating more body heat, and you can literally just touch yourself and notice that you might be a bit warmer than normal after you eat an excess of food, especially in very large amounts. The second way that our body can deal with excess calories is just increasing our NEAT. So you might notice that you might be fidgeting around more, like tapping your fingers, just bobbing your head to music, right? All of these little things that you might not notice that your body is doing subconsciously is trying to burn up that extra energy. People who way overeat, some studies even show that you can burn up to an extra 200 to 400 calories a day just by randomly fidgeting. However, those two examples really don't cut it. You may burn a couple extra calories here and there. That 200 and 400 calories is a very rare case where individuals ate thousands and thousands of more calories than they actually needed to. So most of our extra energy, unfortunately, gets stored as body fat, right? So when people are overweight or obese, what's really happening is that they are overeating their TDEE over a very long time, not every single day, but most of the days, right? So if the adult male burns 2,500 calories a day and he eats 3,000 a day, he will basically store the majority of that 500 calories, in most cases almost all of that 500 calories, as body fat. And then if this just keeps going year after year after year, then eventually that fat will accumulate and become very unhealthy. However, on a happier note, not all body fat is necessarily bad. We actually need body fat to survive. So for males, you need to actually around 3% body fat in order to keep yourself alive and functioning. If you dip under 3, you will quite literally die. And females, it's around 8%, give or take. So you need some sort of body fat in order to be, one, survive, two, be healthy. A lot of people, when I ask them this question, they always say, if I could give you a button to zap away all of your fat, would you do it? They would say, yeah, of course I would do it. I'm like, cool, you just literally ate your own neurons in your own brain. Good for you. So that is basically the gist of TDEE, how we use our calories throughout the day. If you want to find out how to calculate your individual calories for your own specific needs, go ahead and click the tag on top. I don't remember which way it is, so I'm just pointing both of them. Or click the link down in the description to go to my other video explaining how exactly you can calculate your own TDEE to make sure that you don't overeat. So if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please click the like button and subscribe, and comment below on any suggestions or any new videos that you want to hear. I'm going to try to respond to every single comment the best that I can. So again, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Be free. Ooh, maggot.